Sure. Here's an in-depth magazine-style article on the legendary rivalry between Saladin and Richard the Lionheart. Saladin versus Richard the Lionheart, the clash of two titans, the epic rivalry that defined the Third Crusade by History and Warfare magazine. In the annals of medieval history, few rivalries stand out like that of Saladin, the Muslim warrior king who united the Islamic world, and Richard the Lionheart, the crusading English monarch who personified the ideals of chivalry. Their legendary clash during the Third Crusade, 1189 to 1192, became the stuff of myth, inspiring generations of historians, storytellers, and military strategists. But beyond the romanticized images of noble knights and grand battles, what truly transpired between these two towering figures? This is the real story of Saladin and Richard the Lionheart, their battles, their diplomacy, and the lasting impact of their fateful encounters. Before Richard the Lionheart and Saladin ever met on the battlefield, the Holy Land was already a powder keg of religious, political, and military conflict. Born in 1137 in Tikrit, modern-day Iraq, Salah ad-Din Yusuf ibn Ayyub, known as Saladin, was a Kurdish warrior who rose to power in the chaotic world of Islamic politics. Under the tutelage of Nur ad-Din, the ruler of Aleppo, Saladin quickly became a formidable general. By 1171, he had seized control of Egypt and later Syria, establishing the powerful Ayyubid dynasty. What made Saladin different from previous Muslim rulers was his single-minded devotion to unifying the Islamic world against the Christian crusaders. Unlike his predecessors, who were divided by personal ambitions, Saladin rallied Muslims under the banner of jihad, focusing on one ultimate goal: recapturing Jerusalem. On the other side of the world, a different kind of warrior was rising. Richard I of England, better known as Richard the Lionheart. Born in 1157, Richard was the son of King Henry II and the fiercely ambitious Eleanor of Aquitaine. From a young age, he demonstrated an unparalleled talent for warfare, leading battles in France before even ascending the throne. When Saladin captured Jerusalem in 1187, all of Europe was in shock. The Pope issued a call for a Third Crusade, and Richard, who had spent his life training for war, answered with enthusiasm. He set sail with a powerful fleet in 1190, determined to reclaim the Holy Land from Saladin's grasp. But neither man knew that this war would become one of the most iconic military duels in history. Once Richard arrived in the Holy Land, he wasted no time in proving why he had earned his fearsome nickname. Over the course of the next 3 years, he and Saladin engaged in a series of tactical showdowns, each trying to outmaneuver the other. The Siege of Acre, 1189 to 1191, the Crusaders strike back. When Richard landed in the port city of Acre, he found a grueling, 2-year-long siege already in progress. The city was a critical stronghold for Saladin, but it was surrounded by thousands of Crusader troops. Determined to break the stalemate, Richard launched a ferocious assault, using siege engines and naval bombardment. Saladin tried repeatedly to relieve the city, but Richard's superior tactics overwhelmed the defenders. On July 12, 1191, Acre finally surrendered to the Crusaders. However, the aftermath of the battle shocked even hardened warriors. In a display of brutal pragmatism, Richard executed 2,700 Muslim prisoners, including women and children, after Saladin refused to pay their ransom. This act of cold-blooded cruelty enraged Saladin, setting the stage for their next bloody encounter. Following the victory at Acre, Richard marched south along the coast, aiming to recapture Jaffa and eventually Jerusalem. Saladin, unwilling to risk open battle, harassed Richard's forces with relentless hit-and-run attacks. Finally, near the town of Arsuf, Saladin launched an all-out assault. Thousands of mounted archers and cavalry charged Richard's army, attempting to break the Crusader ranks. But Richard, ever the strategist, held his forces back until the perfect moment. Then, with a single signal, Richard unleashed his knights in a devastating counterattack, smashing through Saladin's lines. The Muslim forces crumbled, marking Richard's most decisive victory in the Holy Land. For the first time, Saladin realized he had met an opponent equal in battlefield mastery. The Battle of Jaffa, August 1192, Richard's last stand. In mid-1192, Saladin launched a surprise attack on Jaffa, hoping to drive the Crusaders into the sea. The city fell quickly, but Richard, in an astonishing display of military brilliance, rushed to Jaffa by sea with just a handful of knights. Though outnumbered, Richard led a furious counterattack, personally charging into battle. The sheer force of his shock assault sent Saladin's forces into retreat, securing Jaffa for the Crusaders. This would be the final major battle between the two men. Despite his victories, Richard knew that he could not hold Jerusalem without significant reinforcements. Meanwhile, Saladin's forces were weakened by years of relentless warfare. In September 1192, the two warriors met to negotiate peace. The resulting Treaty of Jaffa was a compromise. Jerusalem would remain under Muslim control. Christian pilgrims could freely visit the Holy City. The Crusaders would retain control of the coastal cities, Jaffa, Acre, and Ascalon. Though Richard failed to retake Jerusalem, he had secured the safety of Christian pilgrims and left a lasting impression on Saladin. Despite their bloody encounters, Saladin and Richard developed a mutual respect. They admired each other's tactical brilliance, bravery, and leadership. Some legends even suggest that when Richard fell ill, Saladin sent his personal physician to treat him, though this remains debated. Saladin remains one of the most revered Muslim leaders in history, known for his chivalry and military skill. Richard the Lionheart became the ultimate icon of European knighthood, though his failure to capture Jerusalem haunted his legacy. The Crusades continued for another 100 years, but the epic struggle between Saladin and Richard was never matched again. Today, their rivalry stands as one of history's greatest military duels, a testament to two titanic figures who shaped the medieval world. If you'd like an even closer look at their tactics, diplomacy, or personal lives, let us know in the comments below.